The individual that you talked to about the local guild. Roll. Diplomacy.
I see a 12 on the die and
19.
Ah, the local Five Fingers Guild. It's a group of individuals out of Patolis. These individuals are not a cutthroat lot, but they do happen to police and enforce those within their protection fairly well. They're buried under layers of paperwork and bureaucracy.
Yes.
And due to the fact that some of Patolis has already started converting to Asmodeus as their patrons, it only befits them.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Alright. And would you know where a representative is that I could talk to?
The Wizards Guild or the Five Fingers Guild?
Wizards Guild.
Okay, the local arcane order. The shopkeeper would probably be able to tell
Make
you.
me roll this one.
Yes, I do. So you have to phrase this one nice. This is like going into the head shop and trying to procure a spot to buy pot.
Yeah.
With the FBI agents at the other end of the store.
Diplomacy or what are my knowledges?
Diplomacy.
25.
The innkeeper looks back at you politely and states,
Well, I'm at the shop with the scrolls.
"Yeah." The shopkeeper looks back at you and he says, "The arcane order. You would probably just go down the garden district, which is where many of the elves reside in town. There's only about 400 to 700 elves here at any given time. A lot of them take vacations.
Understandable.
Sometimes vacations last 3 weeks. Sometimes it lasts 4 years.
Yeah, I can understand that.
But the elves seem to have a firm grasp of the guild, and they are more than likely to accept someone in their ranks, especially if they're a lore master. I judge by your costume, that is exactly what you do.
Yes.
I was either going to say lore master or a chronicler for the Pathfinders.
I've talked to a few of them, but not one of them yet.
I've heard intimately might have signed on with them since we left.
Yeah,
But
you might have.
oh, that reminds me. I wanted to check in with the Adventurers Guild and essentially log our journals, our adventures. We have new members.
I'll let
Some
you
have
do
come,
that.
some have gone.
The Pathfinder Chroniclers Guild is also in the gardens, because the local guild steward is half-elven.
Yeah.
And because she displays most of her elven ancestry rather than human, she has a fondness built around her in that part of the city.
I would want to check on the that memorial we commissioned to Jonalia, see if that was completed.
It is.
All right.
Actually, it's a piece of work that Inabit forgot to tell you about, but he does have the paperwork on.
Okay. If I can find the artist, I'll finish compensating him when
Okay.
he's agreed to there.
Gnomish sculptor. As soon as you're done with that.
Pour a few thousand silver coins into his hands and thank him very much for his work.
Halderman Evenhands.
108.50.
And that's his human name. He has a much longer gnomish name, but if you were to try to pronounce it, you'd be here for a couple hours.
Gnomes
Yes,
have about
that's
as many names as they
typical
have
gnomes.
friends, so.
Yeah, and this one here is especially friendly. He's got a charisma of like 25. It's only outmatched by his steady hands. His dexterity and intelligence combined are just a sight to behold. When he starts working on a piece of work, it'll take him about 3 to 4 months. The finished product is worthy of hanging
+2, 8,000.
in any location. Any.
Alright, so we'd want a prominent place for this in the guild hall, the Adventurers
Yes.
Guild.
Yes, that is exactly where he deposited it, because being that she was an adventurer, that would be the only place suitable for her, in his mind.
Right.
It could go anywhere in town. It could go next to the statue of the great paladin who slew the worm. But instead, no. She was a local, people knew her and liked her.
Need an 8 or better on the roll.
She died
Real
recovering
fast, so that'd be 16
evil swords
days.
of the level one's intent.
Or I could do it in 4 days.
Which
Yes.
is now
Needing
on
an 8 or
display, I
better, or
believe.
8 days.
Or at least secured.
We believe it's secured. Actually, make a knowledge local check. You want to do it high.
12?
Not too good at this. 25?
Chelon is not secured. Someone stole it from one of the vaults here in Magnamar a month and a half after its recovery.
Plus 2 is 16,000.
Rumor was
Plus 4.
the burglar was halfling.
64.
It later traveled to Patolis.
Halfling. Possibly mistaken for a gnome? By the name of Ando?
No.
Alright then.
No. The halfling thief then procured it, sold it to a group of adventurers that made their way to Patolis, where en route they slew a merchant caravan.
We have bigger things on our hands now, but we might have to retrieve that sword at some point.
Okay.
Chelon is nowhere to be found. One, it's a sword that always is hidden from magical searches.
Of course. Silly artifacts.
Yes. Well, we'll find it.
Yep. Alright.
Okay, how much for me to make that?
So, yeah, consulting with the Pathfinders, the adventurers,
And I'll try to
bringing
get a
them up
hold
to
of them.
date on things we found, things we've seen, things we're planning to do, especially relating to Karzog and his Rune Lord and possible rebirth into who knows what. The army he raised,
Plus 4 at 32,000.
the events of Jorgenfist, etc.
It's looking to be a little grim.
Plus 4.
Just from what your perspective, from the information you're just receiving today, this couldn't be good.
And I guess
Plus
we'll log our,
will increase
essentially our flight plan to
all of the
Runeforge in search of answers. So in case we're all killed horribly, someone else can pick up the pieces.
In a bit, we'll be made aware of this tomorrow when you go to the Pathfinders Guild. Also, when you look and observe Junalia's
I'm looking at that one.
statuary.
Okay, I'm gonna get a little more gear for myself and find a respectable armory and get a couple dozen masterwork crossbows, longbows, several hundred masterwork rounds, and have them shipped to Sandpoint
Thank you.
to Sheriff Hemlock in care of the part-timers.
You commission the Armorers Guild.
Take.
Pretty much, about 10 dwarves take up the order,
6th level wizard spell.
Woot
Can't
for
do that
joy.
till next level.
and they realize that they have work for the next week and a half.
Okay, so yeah.
Being the fact that you're also sending this to Sandpoint, the local coasters guild,
Level.
the West Indies Trading Company, it's starting to be a reputable guild from what you
Next level,
understand.
get 6th.
Excellent.
They are headed. They're going to be the ones taking this from Magnamar all the way up around to the Lost Coast Road to Sandpoint. They're doing it via boat.
Okay, so I'll pump up the Magnamar or the Sandpoint Militia, and I think that's it for me. Anybody else have any big plans?
I'm going to the church.
All right,
Report in.
Church of Amadei.
She's going to a magic shop.
Sarenrae, I'm sorry about that.
talking with him.
All right, when you arrive at Sarenrae's church, the cathedral. Hold on, let me see if I can find
You
something
have
here.
believed-
Pause.